Welcome to the webinar, everybody. Don't panic. The webinar will start in less than 1 minute. And it's how to find an Amazon product in 1 day bootcamp.
You are today looking for a simple, common sense strategy to find successful products, then this Gorillas Bootcamp is for you today. I'm Rob Fortney, and the guy in the British shirt over there is Paul Adams, and we are the silverbacks of the Amazon Gorillas tribe of sellers. Hey, Paul, how are you, bud?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, doing very good.
Great.
Not bad at all.
Well, good. So let's do this first. Let's start here, and let's go ahead and start presenting to everybody. And let me outline the information that I'm going to share with you today so everybody has an idea where we're going to go and what we're going to try to accomplish today.
Right, let me share my screen because I've got control of the sort of slides over here. So you'll see us back later on, but in the meantime, we've got some cool information to share with you. So let me just jump over to that.
So I want to explain to you here first exactly who the Amazon Gorillas are. The Gorillas are a group of Amazon business owners, and we meet weekly for educational workshops and information sharing. We try to trade knowledge and support and resources, like things like trusted shipping companies and photographers and quality inspectors. And I've had tribe members take products while I was out of the country at their house and re-sticker them for me. So we just really all try to help each other. And over the last almost 2 years now, Paul, the Gorillas have gained a huge following of more than 15,000 Facebook friends and followers now, Paul. I bet you weren't even aware how much that's grown in the last just little bit even. And we have over 3,000 YouTube subscribers. And our YouTube subscribers have watched, now listen to this, Paul, more than 5 million minutes of these webinars and free training we've been doing.
How huge is that? Okay, Rob, if you're ready to share some awesome information, let's hear about these 3 secret strategies of the Gorillas tribe.
So the Gorillas tribe strategy number 1. So what we want to do is we want to hope that you're going to avoid buying Amazon Megabucks lottery tickets. And what that is that's when you try to pick a product that if you're successful, you have to be extremely successful. So that means the odds of you winning are super low, but you're banking on the fact that you're going to be so awesome that you with no experience are going to show up with very little money likely. You're competing with people doing $100,000 a month who are buying tons of pay-per-click, and you think that you are the lottery ticket winner, that you can compete with people who are selling $150,000 a month of iPhone case covers or measuring spoons. That was what Paul was in at one point. And we got him out. But anyway, so Paul tried to buy himself an Amazon Megabucks lottery ticket. And if you start there, now you've got a 5% chance of making it, or maybe even less than a 1% chance of making it. And here you are, and that's what you're starting out with. So what are your chances of competing with these top sellers with thousands of reviews? You know, you've got better odds at winning the lottery. So start there. Let's not try to pick products that are super competitive. So the next thing, Paul, and I love this is my favorite slide. I love this picture. That's the kind of fish that I catch. So that's not a big fish story. We want to use the big fish strategy, the approach. And what that means is we don't want to swim with sharks. We know that you should not pick products where you have to be in the 10% to be successful. And that's what I'm talking about. If you have to be super successful to win, well, we want you to stay away from that. We want you to diversify your risks and then penetrate these soft niche markets by selling multiple products with lower sales volume and lower amounts of competitors. So we want you to sell products with less than 150 competitors. We want you to start small and build a reliable long-term income. We want you to be the big fish in the small pond. So I imagine you can kind of understand that, because we're not trying to teach you how to be millionaires. We're trying to teach you how to pay your rent, to pay your car payment. And you can start by doing that by making $500 a month. You can start by doing that by getting a product that does $1,000 a month in sales, makes you $300, and that's where you start. And we build that business by having multiple products, doing those sales, thereby spreading your risk out. So we don't want you to be a goldfish that swims with sharks. Definitely don't want to be that. We want to be the big fish in the small pond. We want to take on these areas where there's a super niche and there may not be super successful sellers in there. The top guy may only have 100 reviews, 150 reviews. And then, you know, by the time you get on the second page, people have 10 or 15 reviews. And so you don't need these big review groups and giving away tons of product. You can rank there by having a great strategy instead of having to do all of this kind of manipulation of the market. So we want you to make reliable and consistent income, and ultimately that you can pay your bills with. All right, so success strategy number 2. Again, this comes down to increasing your odds of success by avoiding products with what I say are predictable possible outcomes. That means, so things like electronics and powered products. So if you're getting yourself into electronics products or powered products, we can see into the future a little bit, and that there's a possibility that you may have end up with products that aren't working properly. They may show up from China and the switch doesn't work or whatever it is. Now, that's not to say that later on you can't sell these things, but up front, we're trying to do as many things as we possibly can to avoid, you know, errors that we can point out before they come. So we know that. So we know if people have complex products with multiple pieces, a piece can get lost in the mail. It shows up, it doesn't have all the pieces. You know, grandma gets her new complex thing and she can't work it, can't figure it out. So then you get returns and you get bad reviews. We want to deal with liquids or chemicals, you know, because those things can break and leak. And chemicals can get of almost any kind. Amazon can just pull them out and say, hey, we need to do a hazard check on them, which may put you around 6 months, or you may never get it on. Paul and I have experienced that. You definitely don't want to be with branded products or patented products. And I mean no branded products. There's not one piece of real deal branded products on Alibaba or anywhere in China. Only the manufacturers can have their branded products. And we don't want things that are breakable. Glass, you know, obviously glass can break easily. So we don't want your products to be easily breakable. And then the last one, which, you know, I'm not saying you can't get into this later on, but don't do stuff that can go on or in a human.
There we go.
All right. So Amazon's not a place for inventors. Okay. If no one's searching for your product, you can't sell it. You got to pick a product that has multiple variations. So meaning if no one's putting your search term into the bar and looking for your product, you can't sell it. People can't discover you. They discover you by putting in the word lawnmower or hair dryer or garlic press or whatever it might be. That's how they find you. So unless you have some variation of that, it would be very difficult to sell. And that's definitely not where you want to start. So you don't want to be too innovative. You want to get in the pack, find something that other people are selling that you can make improvements on. You can change a little bit, come up with a little bit of a variation. And it maybe improve on the product based upon what people's reviews are. We may talk about that here in a little bit. So we want you to read the reviews, you know, and solve problems that you see in there and figure out if you can solve them. Maybe make an improvement. If something has multiple products and one of them wears out or people lose them, you might want to include an extra thing. You know, you just want to find something that makes you unique. You may want to add a small little product that adds value to your product instead of, you know, this is the only way people do it. Maybe you want to do multiples and keep the price down low. But you want to definitely add value or add a feature. And you also want to think about whether you want to be budget listing or luxury listing. Now, I don't believe you should be too much in the middle of the pack, certainly starting out. Now, maybe later on you can get back in the middle of the pack, but when you're looking, Amazon is driven by price. So up front, we need to be very price conscious, and we want to be, and in my opinion, now this is the strategy that we're using. We know that Amazon is driven by price, and price in usually a lower market. That's how we sold out of Paul spoons. That's how I sold people out of barbecue gloves. They have these huge competitive things, and we break it down, and we might lose a little bit of money when we try to liquidate them or just get it at cost. And that's how we're able to do that. So we know that price is very important. Now, we don't want you to be too innovative or try to change the market. If they're not searching for it, again, you can't sell it. We want you to sell what sells. Don't reinvent the wheel. I want to pick a product that has variations in it. So when you look down the page, it's not just the same product over and over and over again with, you know, a different color on it, and one's chrome and one's gold. And we go to success strategy number 2. I love this picture, Paul.
Yeah, that's my type of burger.
right? I mean, it makes you hungry right now. So I talk about this all the time. It's one of my favorite analogies. We don't want to have the best burger in the world problem. You got to let the world know that you got the best burger in the world. And I was in the restaurant business for a long time, and I would show up to a restaurant and I would go in and I'd say, what was the problem? And then they would tell me these big stories about how they had the best meat that was massaged with milk for 6 months. And the chef comes from Mars. He's the greatest guy in the world. And I'd ask him, well, why aren't you selling them? Well, the problem is nobody knows about it. So we're going to talk about why you want to not be the best burger in the world. You want to have a great product, but you're always going to have to be marketing. And that's what avoiding the best burger in the world problem is. It starts out with your pictures. Your pictures have to be super good. Most important thing in your listing is to have super good pictures. You know, I mean, like you say in that picture right there, as those guys looking, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So you've got to be, your picture's got to stand out. It's the first thing that people look at. We're very visual. When you see pictures on Facebook or whatever that grab your attention. So your big picture has to be super important, and that's what's going to attract people. Okay. We want to have amazing titles with great headlines. We need to have the lead in the story. Don't bury what your product is in the middle. If you're trying, what your keyword is that you're trying to be ranked for, it needs to be right up front. So when people put that search term in there, their brains automatically go down and say, oh, there's what I'm looking for, because it's there listed. There's the word. My brain goes, oh, that's the answer. And that's what we want to bring people to. So that's why great pictures and great titles are very, very important, and it can help you be successful almost beyond a lot of other things. It's very important. Now, the other thing is we want to make sure bullet points are benefits and not features. And the point is that people don't buy features. They buy benefits. How does this thing do something for me? And so if you can get them in that picture of them using it because it saves them time, because it makes things more efficient, because it's comfortable, whatever it might be, you want to make sure you're always selling. You want to make sure you're always selling benefits and not features. And bullet points need to be bullet points. Bullet points are one line. There should be a space between the next one and then another bullet point. If you start doing big blocks of text, I see it all the time, these big blocks of text, like they think that they're going to get people to read a big block of text. They're not reading. I promise you, they are not reading, especially if your product's under $50. If your product's under $50, time on page is between 3 and 5 seconds before someone makes a decision about your product. So you go ahead and start your listing, and I don't care, count to 7 and see how far you can get. When your person looks at that picture, they look at your bullet point and they go down there and it's a big block of text and it's that little tiny micro text. People just steer away from it and your conversions will go down. So keep those bullet points. Now, we want you to tell a story throughout your listing, the build you're doing. And that you're going to have to come up with, what's the story of your product? And I don't mean actually telling a story, but you can put 3 or 4 sentences that weave it all the way through down to your description where you're going to really tell your story about your product. And the other thing, here's just a neat side tip that I always tell people. You know, the question and answer area is your real estate, meaning you need to make sure that people are asking you questions and you're answering them. So you need to encourage people. And matter of fact, people who don't even, they just have to have an Amazon account. They don't have to buy your product. So if you can get some questions in there from some people looking at your products and you can answer them, that's space that you can get into before they even read reviews. So make sure you use that real estate. Just one of my little tips I try to make sure people do. Now, you want to work hard for reviews. You want to be innovative. You want to use autoresponders, that you're giving great customer service and you solve problems quickly, and you use some type of autoresponder in there, and that's going to help you push your reviews through. Now, make sure that listing is as good as you possibly can get it. All right, so success strategy number 2. So you always got to be committed to having a marketing plan for the entire lifespan of your product. Now, I don't believe you should be spending paid money outside of Amazon. Meaning, I think you should be using Amazon pay-per-click until you just wear it out, until you can't spend any more money. Now, because we're in these small niches, it's going to be a lot less money to be marketing in a smaller niche because the cost per pay-per-click is going to be much less. So we want to take, if you got a budget of, let's say, $2,000, and I don't recommend that you spend more than $3,000 usually on a product. I mean, as a matter of fact, a lot of times I'll launch and do a test product, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, for $1,500. And then, but what I want you to do is I want you to save between 30 and 40% of your entire budget that you're going to start this with on an 8-week marketing plan. But you should get up every morning. You should be trying to figure out how I can get people to buy my product. You should be going into groups on Facebook and asking the group leaders if you can put out a coupon in there when you're launching. I mean, you need to get up and work at this for the first 6 to 8 weeks. You got to get up and try to sell this product. So we want you to build a story about each of your products. We want you to be a huge keyword miner. You got to pick products with multiple keywords. We want to find ways to get some free traffic driven to your listings. And that's where, you know, your Facebook stuff, your Instagram, you know, don't feel afraid to put your product out there and ask people to buy it. You should be proud. Hey, I started my own business. Hey, would you guys look at my product? You know, and if you like it, would you review it? You know, you've got to be consistently trying to market. And I'm not saying you have to do that all the time. I'm saying get yourself 6 to 8 weeks of just putting in the time and really focusing on marketing your product. Now, I want you to spend as much time as you can possibly doing anything else to learn how to be an expert at pay-per-click marketing. So you want to do on-site and off-site promotions monthly. So you always want to be doing this. Don't 6 months down the road when you're selling, just forget it, because guess what? That guy on the front page, I got a buddy on the front page and he spends $500 a day, every day on pay-per-click. So those people up there in those super competitive environments are spending a lot of money. Now imagine if you're in a much less competitive niche market, you can get in there. And if you do these kind of things, that's what overwhelms people, because you're an A player against people that are C's, D's, and F's. And since there's such few of them, that you can rank very quickly. The last 4 products, like I said, maybe 5 products that we've launched with Guerrillas Tribe members, they were very quickly able to rank second page, first page. It's almost kind of amazing that it happens that quick, but it's because they're small niches, less than 150 competitors. Super important. All right, success strategy number 3, Paul.
Here we go.
All right, I think this one's really, really important. If you listen to this part of the strategy, this is going to reduce your risk so much. And a lot of people are making this big mistake by not following this strategy. So we want you to test, we want you to evaluate, and we want you to improve or cut and run, okay? So we suggest that you start out first and you order yourself a minimum order of 100 to 200 units. Now, you may pay more. You may not have the margin you ultimately want. That's fine. But get yourself 100 to 200 in there. Now, you may not find a product and they may not be able to give it to you in 100 quantity. Well, that doesn't mean you should go order 1,000. Like, why are you ordering 1,000 of a product you have no idea it's going to be successful? You've never been in this business. You've not done it. And now you think, I can sell 1,000 of these. So get yourself into 100 to 200 units. Keep your price down. Get them in there, and you may have to buy it at a trading company or wholesaler maybe. But you need to get your product starting out in a low quantity so that you can test whether or not the product's viable live. So we want you to launch and test the validity to your product for 45 days, maybe 60. So what's going to happen is you're going to get your product in there. You're going to do all these things. You're going to launch. You're going to promote. You're going to do pay-per-click. And you're going to try to compete by pay-per-click. So let's think about that. So people are now, how do I get on the front page? Well, how you get on the front page is you launch a product and you buy the ads and you buy the space with pay-per-click on the front page next to the guy that's got 3,000 reviews. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a product. Hopefully your listing is going to be great. And you're going to go compete against the first guy. You're going to compete with that front page because guess what you're going to do? You're going to get on the front page. You're then going to go compete with people on the second and third page. You're going to find out what your product does. So, I mean, it's a very simple process. Sometimes it's so complex. I don't know why people make it so complex. You got a small amount of products. You get in there and you compete on pay-per-click. You get up there right at the front. You're right next to the guy who's going to be your competitor. You're with the people on the second page who are your competitors. There's your product. Like, there's no magic difference between that product now and a product that you rank 6 months or 5 weeks or 10 minutes from then. If it's ranked organically, it's not going to sell. If it doesn't sell because it's up there, it's not going to sell. So then while you're doing that, I want you to be split testing your listings. I want you to try different titles and prices and pictures and see what converts better. Now, there's some great software out there that people are using for that. And I think one of them is called Splitly. Go ahead and take a look at that, because now your small amount of product, you're getting your pay-per-click, you're testing your product, you're then testing what sells to make sure your listing's refined. So then what happens is, you go through that 45 to 60 days, you make some refinements, you make changes, you get feedback, and then you improve. If you can't sell the product, what we want you to do is we want you to reboot, liquidate, or if you're going to keep it, start on a 90-day super launch, which means you're going to increase your volume. You're going to buy more product because you're selling. And you may make those improvements. You put it back in there, and there you go. You've got a product that's doing well instead of risking all this money. So if you have to reboot, you put your product down at cost, maybe a little bit below, but you get back 60, 75% of your listing. Paul, when you got your spoons, we got back most of your money, didn't we?
Yeah, it was. It was over 75% I got back. Which was good because then I could reinvest that capital into a totally different product.
Exactly. So, Guerrillas Tribe secret number 3, and this is truly, I think, one of the secrets that the tribe members use together, and we call it our secret tool. It's the Super Product Selector Scorecard, and it's created by the Guerrillas Tribe members. Because one of the biggest problems we had, and everybody has, is the people face is finding out how to find a product. But then the problem is you get all this information, you buy these pieces of software, you look for all this stuff, and you're trying to evaluate the information you've gathered. You've got all this research, but what do you do with it then? A bunch of data that has all these different things. If you don't have the information or what to do with it, then what happens? You don't have the information. How are you gonna evaluate it? So what this tool does is it helps you evaluate that product. Now we're gonna give this product to you, and you're gonna actually be able to take this product home with you. So let me share. I'm gonna get Paul to share this tool with you, and like I said, we're gonna give it to you at the end of the boot camp. All right, Paul, go ahead and let's share with them the IVT.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I just want to cover that the IVT has actually helped hundreds and hundreds of people find successful products. And it's actually been downloaded thousands of times. And at the moment, this is a free product that we're actually giving away, whereas you can actually download this for free, which is awesome. But we're not sure how long that is going to remain free. We've talked about turning it into its own little product. So take advantage, get it while you can. All right. So basically, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to run through each of the attributes in turn. And the way we do this is in the yellow here, we've got the questions. And on the score in the orange box is a drop down. So basically, you can give it a 0 or a 10. And you can actually put the relevant information over on the right-hand side as you're actually going through this in investigation. So let me give you some ideas of what the attributes are. So the first one is really about BSR. And the BSR is the bestseller rank. That's what sort of Amazon call it. That's where you're basically ranked within the system itself. Now we're looking for products between 10,000 and 50,000. So basically we're looking for the gold nuggets as opposed to the gold dust or the crumbs that are left over. Anything below 10,000 is going to be really competitive. Anything over 50,000, and there's not going to be enough sales volume there as a general rule. Okay, so that's attribute number 1. Attribute number 2, the pricing. Now, Rob talked about pricing strategy. Now, when we're trying to find a particular product, we're really looking for products between $17 and $50. Now, the reason being there that anything below $17, by the time that you've taken all of your costs out of there, including the FBA fees, your shipping, the actual purchase of the product itself, there's not going to be a lot of profit made from a product that's selling below 17. Anything over 50, that could well be quite expensive to actually get your inventory to start with. Now, it depends on your budget, obviously, but as a general rule, that is the sort of the areas that we're looking at. The next one we're looking at is the number of reviews. When you're looking to try and find a product, you need to have a look at the number of reviews of the products. And we're saying that at least 3 products to have at least 100 reviews on the first page. Okay, and that is for the main keywords. So if it's hair dryers, you're looking for, or big hair dryers or powerful hair dryers, that is the keyword you should be looking for, and at least 3 products should have more than 100 reviews. That shows there is demand and people are actually buying it and the products are selling. All right, the next one is we're looking at less than or no more than 200 competitors. Ideally, Rob's already spoke to you about this, and the magic number is about 150. You don't want to go too low. You don't want to go into a niche that's only got 50 competitors, because there's not enough sort of sales or not enough interest in that particular niche. Anything over 2 competitors, over 200 competitors, you're starting to get more competition. It's a lot more difficult to actually gain momentum and actually get onto that page 2 or even page 1. As it becomes a lot more difficult. So the next attribute that we're looking for is, so as at least 3 products have a main category rank, that's a BSR we're talking about here, of less than 10,000 for the keyword. Now, anything less than 10,000 is generally selling significant volume, which means there's an opportunity to make good volumes and sales there. So then it takes us on to weight. Now, weight is quite an important aspect here. Now, what we recommend is, to start with, let's look at weights at less than 2.5 pounds. Now, the reason being there is the heavier the product, the more it's going to cost you to actually ship that product from China, as well as it's going to cost you more in inventory from FDA point of view as well. They will charge you for overweight, oversized products. Now, the next one, we're talking about at least 5 products on the first page have less than 100 reviews. Now, this means there's an opportunity to overtake those sellers. It also identifies weaknesses and opportunities within the niche for that market, so allow you to actually bring your product, with all of the knowledge that you're bringing onto the listing, the differentiation you've made with your product, and actually push that forward and make that a lot easier to overtake those people as well. So the next attribute we're looking for is the 4 products on the front page add up their estimated revenue, and it should have no more than 50% of the total revenue. Now, it's difficult to do that just by looking at sort of an Amazon listing. So you do need some software out there, which luckily we're going to help you with at the end. But you could use something like Jungle Scout or ASIN Inspector, or if you've got a non-paid for application, there's Unicorn Smasher. But you need to be looking at the first 4 top sellers, adding up their revenue, adding up the total of the first page, and the first 4 should not have more than 50% of the total revenue. The next attribute we're looking for is the total estimated revenue on the first page should be under 250. And this could vary a little bit depending on what niche you're looking at, but between sort of 250 and 300,000. And basically, again, what we're looking for is adding up the whole revenue on the first page. Okay, so anything over that just shows it as a really competitive market. And again, it's going to be really difficult for you to break into that. Which comes around to the next attribute, is the bottom end of that scale. So you don't really want to be having the first page with a total revenue of less than $25,000, simply because there's no money to be made on the first page. So if there's no money to be made on the first page, there's next to no money on the second page and virtually 0 on the third page, if it goes back that far, that is. So you need to make sure that you're actually getting into a niche, that you've got enough sales volume there to make enough money into the market. Let's look at the next attribute here. So the total estimated revenue on page 2 should be no more than 50% of the total revenue on page 1. And again, that's easily done. Just add up the revenue on page 1, add up the revenue on page 2. Page 2 should be no more than 50%. If it is, again, that just shows you there's a really competitive market, and there's a lot of people selling an awful lot of stuff still on page 2. What does that mean? It means you're going to have a hard time to break into that position. And following on the same theme, the next attribute looks at page 3. Now, page 3, what we're looking for here is a nice even drop on revenue. Now, the revenue should be on page 3, no more than 15% of the total revenue on page 2. Now, again, this is really easily done. Simple calculator, piece of paper, or just take down the results from Jungle Scout, Ascent Inspector, or one of the other products, drop it into a spreadsheet and just do the numbers. And again, what we're looking for here is, like I said, as long as there's not a sudden drop off on those pages. Sometimes you'll see that as really good numbers on page 1. You go to page 2, there's nothing there. Or you go to page 1, page 2, it looks reasonable, nothing on page 3. So in other words, it drops straight off. Again, really difficult to force your way into sort of those positions where you need to begin to page 2 or page 1. So let's have a look at the size. Size does matter when it comes to Amazon. Now, size is big and is not always best when it comes to Amazon as well. Simply because the larger the size, they will charge additional fees for handling, storage, picking, and shipping. So what we're saying here is, to start with, let's make your product not oversized. Let's go with a standard size. And what we're saying is, if it can fit inside a shoebox, as a rough estimate, that's good. Okay. Now, ideally, you don't want to pick a product that's larger than 8 inches by 8 inches by 10 inches. Okay. Because if you do, your shipping fees will just go up, your handling fees will go up, and your FBA fees will go up.
And that's actually 18, Paul. I don't know why that's a typo, actually.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I've got it as 18 at the top here. Sorry, it's sort of eight down here. But that is the actual sizes that sort of Amazon will actually start to look at your product as being an oversized product. But to start with, like I said, let's try and get that into the shoebox size type product. So let's have a look at the ad space. Now, Rob's talked about the ad space quite a bit here, or pay-per-click. Okay, or PPC, that's what we're talking about. Now, on the page layout, you'll have a number of different places where you can actually see paid for advertising for different products. Now, generally, you'll have 4 places over on the right-hand side, and depending on what sort of Amazon have actually decided to do on their split testing, because they do a lot of split testing on their the way they present the results, is sometimes you'll have advertisements at the top, so the first 2 spots will be paid for ads. Sometimes that'll be the first one, then you'll have 1 in the middle, 1 at the bottom, 2 at the bottom, 1 a bit. Like I said, they are split testing, but the key thing is that you need to make sure that the ad space is full of similar type of products that you are selling. Why? Because it shows that people are actually willing to spend money to place their products in those positions, and it's working for them. Okay, if it wasn't working for them, they wouldn't pay for the ads, and you wouldn't see the similar type of product in that position. Now, that just means that it's a niche that is profitable. Otherwise, people wouldn't be paying for the advertising. Okay, so that's a good thing. That's what you need to be looking out for. Now, Rob spoke about this earlier. Products not to get into. Okay, do not pick products that are liquid, gas, easily broken, hazardous, ingested by humans, complex to use, or too many parts. All right, that's just, yeah, straight out the gate is just make yourself an easy life. Okay, don't fall into the habit of going down to the, oh, this is a nice little product. If I assemble that and put that together and it comes in 3 boxes, what a brilliant product. Well, the chances are that you're going to have some parts missing at some point, yeah, or it doesn't fit together properly, yeah, or your glass teapot is broken on the way because the DHL guy has just thrown it over the fence, not realizing it's hazardous do not drop means hazardous do not drop. Because he's in a hurry. All right, so do yourself a favor, stay away from these type of products to start with, especially electronics products. Now, a lot of people are drawn to electronics products because they're sexy products. Don't, because again, yeah, there's a high chance and a high probability that something could go wrong. If it could go wrong, it will go wrong. If it goes wrong in your first product, you're going to get negative reviews. You're going to get 1-star reviews, and that's going to stress you out left, right, and center. Okay, so just stick with the easy. Go down the easy road, the middle road, and there are ways of actually standing out in the crowd, which we've already spoken about. Okay, so that were they were the attributes that you need to be looking for. Now, when you're filling in the scorecard, like I said earlier, on the orange sections, you can actually have the drop-down menu so you can score that 0 to 10. At the end of it, you'll automatically get a score, a total score. Now, if your score is over 100, that means it's a potentially a viable product. Okay, now that means you should spend more time digging into part 2. Now, part 2 of this I'm not going to go into because that talks about, talking to trying to find vendors in China, speaking to vendors in China, getting quotations, getting lead times, and stuff like this. But the key thing here is to make sure that you've got a product that is viable. In other words, make sure you've got a product that you can actually spend more time on. Now, this is pretty much black and white. If your score is 90, for example, all right, it may be worth spending a little bit more time on, see if you can get some quotes, see what the MOQ is, minimum order quantity. If it's a 60 or a 70, just walk away. You're not going to spend any more time on it. In other words, it's saving you time, saving you effort, allowing you to move on to the next product, run through these attributes. If you've got a good score, spend more time on it. Okay, so that's basically what that is. So let me summarize that just quickly here. The attributes that are meaningful and there's some substance behind them. It gives you the ability to score each of those attributes. All right, so it accumulates into a viability score like I just talked about. Now, phase 2 of this, and again, you'll get this when you download it, phase 2 allows you to drill into the supply chain and competitors' listings. Okay, and again, all of this information here on this particular tool, it gives you the ability to record the actual data so that you can come back and analyze that like for like. So if you're looking at 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 different products, you can record all of that data in one particular sitting and go back and compare each of those on a summary page. Right? Once you've done that, once you've been through these attributes, it will increase your odds when you're picking a viable product.
How about that?
Was that okay?
I think that's exactly what we wanted to talk about.
All right.
Well, I think what's happened there is that we now have given you a strategy to use, which is obviously super important. You got to have a strategy in how you're going to get into this business. And our strategy is keep it simple. Don't create a lot of risk for yourself. Decrease your risk, increase your possibility of success, meaning get yourself in categories with small amounts of people competing. Much easier to compete with 100 people as opposed to 500 or 1,000 or 10,000 or whatever it might be. So we talked about the tribe secret number 1, which is avoiding buying Amazon Megabucks lottery tickets. And the product picking success strategies to use during that. So we don't want to have products that have a 5% chance of making it with super competition. We want to pick products with less than 150 competitors. As you've seen, Paul has a bunch of those other attributes, and those are specific attributes that the tribe members have all kind of come up together and said, hey, these are things that we know give us some indication that this is a great product. And so that's where the IVT comes from. It's proven. It's being used right now in their businesses. And you're going to get a copy of that at the end of this. You're going to have your very own copy, and you're going to be able to fill it out. You're going to be able to put your scores in there, and you're going to be able to decide, hey, should I move forward with this product or not? So the second strategy we talked about was how to learn to test, review, and scale your product so you can avoid the best burger in the world problem. So we want you to get out there. We want you to learn what's wrong with your competitors. We want you to send in 100, 200 units, test it, when you review it when you're done, and then if you're going to sell it all, you want to scale up. And then we always want to be marketing. We always want to market. We don't want to have the best burger in the world problem. And then our strategy number 3 is using the Super Product Selector Scorecard. And you saw how powerful that is. Those are 15 attributes of products that are just symptoms and signs and attributes and characteristics of products that we have seen win over and over again. Now, is that a guarantee of success? Absolutely not. You can make a lot of other mistakes besides picking that product. But I can tell you this, your likelihood of being successful goes up. I mean, it's like a rocket ship when you get under 150 competitors, under 200 competitors at max. Now, that number may vary a little bit based upon the amount of money that you have to invest. A large amount of money, you can handle a little bit more competition. But outside of that, I don't think you should get into super competitive environments. So that's where the IVT will help you refine that and get yourself into products that can be successful, so you can launch multiple products, making between $500 and $2,000 a month. You add in 5 of those. Now all of a sudden you're making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. You got 5 products. You're able to start paying your bills. You're able to start paying your rent. You're able to start moving forward and get more time to do what you want to do. And ultimately you may end up a location dependent Amazon entrepreneur. All right. So let me share with you something that's probably important. Let me share you why most people fail. Okay, most people fail, and it's probably just the same way as I did. You probably felt exactly the same way I did when I started. I lacked confidence, and I was lost in what I call the Amazon sellers information jungle. You know, it was just full of too much information. And, you know, all these courses were out there promising untold riches. And, you know, I was going to be a millionaire if I just had to work 2 hours a week, and I was going to sell $1 million worth of Amazon spoons. I always like to jab Paul with the spoons, but
yeah, thanks.
Anyway. You know, you've been to 100 webinars and they've told you all this information, and a lot of them are these very unspecific. Yeah, go out and find a product sells 10 a day, and that's your product you're going to compete with. You're competing with every single product in a market, not one product. But there's always been one big giant, right, Paul? It's big giant problems. The biggest problem everyone faces.
It's bigger than that.
Right. You get all this information. You get all this information. You got all this information laid out there. You go buy a course. You go get on YouTube. You listen to a webinar. And at the end of the day, guess what, Paul? You're left alone to figure it out on your own. And the problem is there's too much to learn and too many mistakes you can make. And if you use the wrong strategy, what's likely to happen, Paul?
You will fail. Absolutely, no doubt about it.
So how much confidence would you have if you could join the Gorillas Tribe of Sellers? You know, these are motivated people who are working in this business. You know, there's coaches inside of there, and they meet weekly for interactive educational workshops and personal coaching with each other. And you could avoid the potholes. You know, the potholes that are in your way that you can't see, because in the tribe, we're helping each other avoid those potholes. And you can ask questions every week. You can get the answers you need to move your business forward along the way.
We provide our new members a step-by-step roadmap and combine that with a virtual classroom and personal coaching, which is huge. And if you really want to join the sort of the Gorillas Tribe and gain the knowledge, the support, the resources you need to launch your product in 90 days, you're in the right place.
Exactly. Now, Paul, I'm sure you know this, and everybody knows this. This is just, I mean, we all know this because we've all experienced it. It's a proven fact that people who work in groups are more likely to complete their goals and be successful. It actually makes you 10 times more likely to be successful. And that's what the boot camp provides, and having the knowledge and resources that are available to be in a group of people who have done this. Here's what we do. So we have weekly training. So every week we get together and we train with each other. So we host these online classes. It's like a college course. I really feel that way. I feel like Paul and I are the professors a lot of time. So you get weekly instruction. With our sellers, we invite industry leaders to come in. We get other coaches to come in, and we want to help you get your product launched in 90 days. I imagine that's got to be worth at least a couple $1,000s to actually meet every week with people who know what they're doing and will sit down with you and let you ask questions. When you got a problem, you can ask that question in there. So then the other thing is that we're going to give you the jungle roadmap is what I call it. I don't like to say course stuff here because it's not a course so much as it is a resource library, a step-by-step informational videos and guides and tools that'll help you find and source your product and sell your product from start to finish. So you can watch these videos, get training where you need help along the way, and then you can bring those questions to the weekly meetups. And then during the week, we're going to show you here in just a second how you can get those questions answered almost at any time you need them done. So we're going to teach you how to get your product launched, and we're going to get you a training product. And once you get inside and we get you in there, we're going to show you how to get a training product on Amazon super quick. Okay. So sometimes we can get those up within 2 weeks. Now, this isn't the product you're ultimately going to sell, but it's going to get a training product so you can get your hands inside the engine and start working on your Amazon business. So the other thing is the biggest thing I think, which is you're going to get your questions answered. Our personal interactive educational coaching sessions allow everyone to ask questions. And how you're going to get these question answers, if you're not on a live call, you're going to email me, you're going to email Paul, you're going to email someone in the group, you're going to post in our Elite Mastermind group, which is a Facebook group, and we call it the Base Camp. I mean, basically, it's just where we all meet. It's kind of the hub where everyone goes in there. We're always posting articles and things like that I think, can help everybody. People are asking questions. And so if you need something answered quickly, you go in there and you go in this private secret Facebook group and you're able to access it. And I know people charging, hundreds of dollars a month to be in something like that. So that's got to be worth at least $1,000. And the other thing is the bottom line is you're going to gain the support and confidence to finally get what you need, which is to launch your products, source winning products, and get them on Amazon and get your business started. The first bonus that we've worked out is that when we get you into the tribe, what we're going to do is we're going to get together. Usually sometimes it's two, sometimes I do it one-on-one. It just depends on what people's schedule are. But what we do is we schedule a live small group personal business planning session with the tribe. So we're going to sit down and we're going to hop on a Skype call together, just like we're doing now. We're going to be live. You're going to get some advice. We're going to make a plan. You can ask questions, and we're actually going to look for a product with you during that time. So now, Paul, this is Paul. I'm going to let Paul explain this to you.
Here we go. ASIN Inspector Pro. All right. Now, this is no small shakes. All right. We are giving you this for free. All right, as part of the membership. All right, like Rob said, we've spoken to the guys that run this, own this, and this is just for the Gorillas members. Okay, just for the bootcamp members. We're giving you ASIN Inspector Pro. All right, and with that, there's a step-by-step training video. Right, there's more than 4 hours of training. Some of the attributes that are available in this is to know your bestseller rank. We've already talked about that. In the attributes, it's really key. Categories or nodes, as Amazon like to call them, we can actually target those. Sourcing products really quickly, absolutely. It cuts tremendous amount of time using some of this software while you're trying to find products. To say this is awesome is an understatement, but I'll say it, this is an awesome tool to get your hands on. And we're really proud that we've actually struck this deal, and you're going to get it. It's part of the deal.
There are two kinds of people who show up on these webinars. The first one is the timid, nervous guy or gal who gets here and they think it's really cool. It makes sense and they want to do it, but they just don't take any action. I don't know about you, but I don't like working with people like that. And certainly in the tribe, we try to avoid that. Those people are never successful. The people I like and the people the tribe like to work with on this webinar, and they hear it and they understand it. They step up and they want to produce, and boom, they come out here and they get results and they make things happen. So I'm going to ask you guys, who are you? Are you the guy on the left or the guy on the right or the gal on the left or the girl on the right? Those people who are number one are probably just going to get tired, and they probably already got tired and they've already hung up on the webinar and they went home. I don't want to make you feel guilty already, but if you're ready to take some massive action in your life and do some really cool stuff, about that, 997. And that gets you in. And if you get on the call right now for $997, we're only going to let 25 people in. You got 100% money back guarantee. So if you become a tribe member in 14 days, you don't think it's for you, you don't like it, man, we'll just give your money back. We don't want to try to push people through this. If you don't think it's for you, then we definitely want to evaluate. So you're going to be part of a team. So you're going to get the roadmap. You're going to get your questions answered for only $997. Now, right below this right now, if you look down on your screen, there's a button. Go ahead and click it and get involved in the boot camp right now. There's only going to be 25 people. I have some payment options I put in there because the people expressed to me, hey, I couldn't come up with all that money right now. So I've got an option where you can pay 2 or you can pay 3. So you could pay 1 payment, 2 payments, or 3 payments. So there's no excuse. I want you to go ahead and get involved. Like, now's the time. If you wait till tomorrow, I'm telling you, things get in the way and things change. And then the next thing you know, you're back on the information overload train. So go ahead and explain to them one more time, Paul, what they're going to get.
Yeah, so let me just reiterate, right? You will be getting the 3 bonuses, okay? You'll be getting the business strategy, the planning session, the live product search, ACE and Inspector software, and all of the training that goes with that. You'll be getting the weekly training, right? The Gorillas hosted weekly online classes. This is where we get together and you can actually ask questions and get your questions answered there and then, right? That happens every single week. The Jungle Roadmap, right? Our resources library, the step-by-step informational videos that you get, the guides, the tools, and all of the help, the sources to sell your product from start to finish, right? A to Z. This is what we're all about. This is what you're getting. You're also getting get your questions answered. This is the personal interactive educational coaching sessions, which allows everyone to ask questions. Join the Elite Mastermind group. It's on our Facebook. It's the base camp. This is where everybody gets in, and we're posting stuff in there all the time, and it's educational stuff that we're posting. We've got a new form. We'll put it in there. Everybody joins, and that's where they're getting all the information. And gain the support and confidence that you need to finally get the help you need to launch and source a winning product on Amazon. So that is basically what you're getting. Now, some of the tools inside here you can see on here. So a lifetime membership, we're adding to this all of the time. As we develop, we add. We're not asking for anything additional once you become a member. You get all of the updates all of the time. The supplier comparison chart, you'll need that. So once you start to talk to China, if you don't know what you're talking about, ask us. We have you covered. We've got your back covered. We've got the answers for you. Super Product Selector. We're on version 4 now. We always update where required. How to find a product champion. This is a small mini course inside the course itself. And amazing resources, which we've already gone through as well.
And you can get started for as little as $400 right now. We're going to divide it into 3 payments for you. So you pick which one you want. Paul, why don't we go ahead and let's just talk to everybody now. And we can come back to the presentation at the end. But I just want to tell you guys right now, like, I believe in what we do. I watch people launch products, and I watch them launch them consistently. I know that when you're in this group with us, that we can help you. We can help you gain the confidence you need. We can help you get your product launched. We've got strategies that I know are working because it's conservative. This isn't some pie in the sky kind of thing. This is real world stuff and real world information that you can enact and build a business and create reliable income. Because if you don't have reliable income, you can't go out and quit your job. You can't do less overtime. You can't quit working on Saturdays and Sundays if you don't know that money's going to come there. And how you do that is by building a business from the ground up. You start out with 1 product, you build into 2 products. You might have a failure here and there, which you're going to have. You're going to fail at some things. You're just going to make mistakes, or things that you can't control are going to happen. But if you use the process of testing and getting the information and skipping over the potholes, you're going to reduce your risk and increase your opportunity exponentially. So this isn't a course. This is a roadmap with a group of people that you're going to walk through this thing with you. We're going to walk you through every single week. We're going to help you join with the group. You're going to get coaching inside when everybody's in the room. We're going to be helping everybody. We're going to be answering your questions. Listen, I can help you launch your product and start your business, and I can help you be successful. It's $997. That's not that much money when you look at the whole perspective. Just in the fact that the strategy is going to keep you a lot safer and save yourself a ton of time and money. And the point is, you could spend the next 6 months trying to figure this out and watch 100 webinars and listen to podcasts and go right back to being confused. Instead, we have a great product picking strategy. So you can start your business. Let's get your business started. The button's right down there. Go ahead and join us in the boot camp. Right below this. There's the answer. Paul, you got anything to add before we get out of here?
Yeah, just one thing. I'm just going to share my screen again. Hold on. For those that are still here, and there are still quite a few people here, I can see that. And
what are you guys waiting for?
Yeah, what they're waiting for is what I'm going to tell them now. Where to get the IVT. All right. So if you're just sticking around, if you just want the IVT, no problems. All right. We're more than happy to share that, because if we're sharing something that we can give away that's going to help you in your business, in your life, then that makes us very happy, puts a big smile on our face. So here's the button now. All right. Click that button below where it says download my IVT. It's all yours. All right. So thank you very much for sticking around. Right. It's been an absolute pleasure. Mr. Fortney, sir, you are a rock star.
No, you are a rock star.
Well, we are rock stars. And we want everybody else, right, to join us and to become rock stars, because that is the attitude that we have. This is it. Listen, right, it's a business you're starting, all right, but let's have a little bit of fun on the way. And that's basically it. Yeah, that's the group. That's what we are. So get your IVT down below, but more importantly, join the group. The button's down below there. Easy payments are there as well. So
we have
tried to remove all the roadblocks, made it as easy as possible. And we welcome those that have already joined up. Like I say, sort of Dave. So who else was there? Tommy, I noticed. Naomi, she joined. So a quick scan through. Hold on. Don't forget, 25 spaces. That's it. And if you're on the replay, you better act quick, because I know they go. I know those places will go. I can see Phil has sort of joined right on, Phil. Excellent.
Guys, here's the deal. Bottom line is you have this opportunity. If you're still sitting here this many minutes into this webinar, you want to do it. You just got to take action. Go get your credit card and put it in there, and let's get you started. Now, listen, if you're still worried about this and you still have questions, man, you go ahead and go to the website at gorillasonline.com. You can email me at amazongorillas@gmail.com. Amazon Gorillas, that's GORILLAZ @gmail.com. You ask me a question. Heck, if I got to, I'll hop on a phone. If you need to talk to me in person, I will talk to you in person, just to get any questions you have answered. But if we're out of space, I'll do everything I can to get you in. But if you've got to talk to me, send me a message. We'll figure it out and we'll get you on, because we want to get people in this, and we want to help people change their lifestyle and move forward in their life with secure income that can actually give you the freedom to do the things you want to do and enjoy your life more. Listen, thank you guys so much for listening. If you stayed around, man, you are my hero. Hey, if I can ever do anything for you, please don't feel any problem at all reaching out to me on Facebook at Rob Fortney Jr. Send me a message. I will get back to you. I get back with everybody. I answer every single thing that people send to me. So if you got a question and I can help you out, I sure will. If you don't get a chance to be in the boot camp this time, just make sure you pay attention. We'll offer this again. We'll get some more people in there. It's going to be available for the next little bit. And go ahead and get yourself signed up. Hey, guys, you have a great day, and I'm going to see you on the inside of the Amazon Sellers Jungle. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Take care, everybody.